Now, the Vietnam War took place between the North Vietnamese and the South Vietnamese. In particular, the Americans came into this war on the side of the South Vietnamese. So one thing that's very interesting is although the great power of the Americans and the determination of the South Vietnamese, they eventually lost to the North Vietnamese. And one of the key components of the North Vietnamese victory was they were the ones that created the peace. So the first place we see this is they eventually, after many, many years of war, they gave a ceasefire to the Americans and the South Vietnamese, who needed the peace at that time. Particularly the Americans. There was many protests in America, much anger about the death of American soldiers, the war expenses, all kinds of things were just bubbling up, and the Americans really needed peace. And it was at that moment that the Vietnamese ruler said, okay, we'll give you peace, we'll give you a ceasefire. So they were in control of creating the peace terms. And what they did is when they signed that peace treaty in Paris, they made it unenforceable. The main stipulation of the ceasefire was that the Americans would get out of South Vietnam within a very short period of time. So the Vietnamese wanted the Americans out to make the peace unenforceable. And within a few years, the North Vietnamese then attacked South and finally brought about the inevitable peace. The peace that they intended from the beginning, which was unifying North Vietnam and South Vietnam. So you see the little orange line there, the 17th parallel. That is where the line that used to be between North and South, and the North Vietnamese rulers decided that the only peace they would accept is when all Vietnam came together under them once again. So they created the peace that determined the end of the war. And this is very important for you as a ruler. As you rule your kingdom, you always want to be the one who's creating the peace, because peace is what ends the war. It also is what begins the war. Because when there's no war, there's peace. So peace is always at the beginning of a war and the end of the war. And if you're the one creating it, well, then you determine the war as well. So in your kingdom, as a ruler, you always want to be the one who creates the peace. Because create the peace and you'll rule the war.